No one wanted to work in that house. The mansion was big, too big. White walls, glass doors, quiet halls. But the silence was not peaceful. It was heavy. This was the house of Daniel Cross, a powerful millionaire. People knew him in the city. Money, business, respect. But inside the house, there was fear. Not because of the man, not because of the money, because of the baby. His name was Leo. He was only 1 year old. But every nanny who touched him left crying. Some left bleeding. At first, people laughed. Babies kick, they said. Babies cry, they said. But this baby was different. Leo did not cry. He attacked. One nanny tried to hold him gently. Leo screamed, then punched her face. Another nanny bent down to pick him up. Leo kicked her nose. Blood came out. She quit the same day. The third nanny stayed only 3 hours. She tried singing. She tried toys. Leo looked at her. His eyes went cold. Then he bit her hand. Hard. Doctors came. Psychologists came. They checked his brain. They checked his ears. They checked his eyes. Everything was normal. But the attacks did not stop. The mansion became a place of tension. Nannies came and went. Every week, a new one. Every week, the same result. Fear, pain, resignation letters. The parents were tired. Leo's mother cried at night. She blamed herself. Leo's father paid more money. Higher salary. Extra benefits. But no one stayed. One morning, a new nanny arrived. She was confident. Strong voice. Big smile. She said, "I can handle any child." The parents watched from the door. The nanny walked toward Leo. She reached her arms out. Leo stared at her. The room became silent. Then suddenly, Leo screamed. He kicked her chest. He punched her mouth. She fell back. The parents rushed in. The nanny stood up, shaking. "I quit," she said. Her voice was broken. That was the moment the mother whispered, "There is something wrong with our child." But in the corner of the room, someone else was watching. A woman no one ever noticed. Her name was Ruth. She was the black cleaner. She wore simple clothes. No muck-up. Hair tied back. She cleaned floors. She cleaned windows. She spoke very little. She had worked in that house for 3 years. She saw every nanny, every scream, every tear, but no one asked her opinion. She was invisible. Ruth pushed her cleaning cart slowly. She stopped near the door. Leo turned his head. For the first time, he looked away from the nanny. His eyes followed Ruth. She felt it. She looked up. Their eyes met. Ruth froze. She had seen that look before. Years ago, in another life. Leo crawled forward. The parents panicked. "Stop him," the mother shouted. The father stepped forward. But Ruth did not move. She did not smile. She did not speak. She only stood still. Leo reached her. Everyone held their breath. This was the moment. Another punch. Another scream. That's what they expected. Leo lifted his small hand, touched Ruth's cheek. Softly. Then something happened. Something no one was ready for. Leo leaned forward and kissed her face. The room exploded with shock. The mother covered her mouth. The father stepped back. The nanny dropped her bag. The baby smiled. For the first time in that house, there was no fear, only silence. Ruth's eyes filled with tears. She did not move. She did not speak. She only whispered, "Hello, baby." Leo laughed. A real laugh. The sound echoed through the cold mansion. And in that moment, everything changed. But no one understood why. Not why no one moved. The kiss was small, soft, but it felt loud. The baby had never done that before. Not once. The room stayed frozen. The air felt heavy. Leo smiled again. A real smile. Ruth stood still like time had stopped. She did not pull away. She did not panic. Her hand shook slightly, but she stayed calm. The mother blinked again and again. "Did you see that?" she whispered. The father said nothing. He was staring at his son like he was seeing him for the first time. The nanny backed away slowly. Her face was pale. "That baby hates people," she said. But he kissed her. No one answered. Leo reached out again. His small fingers touched Ruth's sleeve. Ruth gently stepped back. She knew the rules. She was just a cleaner. She was not paid to touch the baby. She lowered her head and turned away. But Leo cried. A loud cry. Not anger. Not pain. Fear. The parents rushed forward. The mother picked him up. Leo screamed harder. His body shook. He pushed his mother away. He kicked. He punched. The old pattern came back. The doctor, who was still in the house, stepped closer. "Put him down," he said. The father placed Leo on the floor. Leo crawled fast, straight to Ruth. Ruth stopped walking. Her heart raced. She had lost her job before for less. She slowly turned. Leo reached her feet. He hugged her leg. Tight. The crying stopped. The house went quiet. The doctor dropped his notebook. "This makes no sense," he said. The mother's eyes filled with tears. She knelt down. "Why her?" she asked. Ruth finally spoke. Her voice was low, soft. "I don't know, ma'am." She bent down slowly. She did not touch Leo. She just looked at him. Leo looked back. Calm, peaceful, like he was safe. The father raised his hand. "Everyone out," he said. The nanny left. The doctor stepped back. Only the parents and Ruth stayed. Ruth stood uncomfortable. She wiped her hands on her uniform. "I should go back to work," she said. The mother shook her head. "Please," she said. "Just stay." Ruth stayed. Leo sat quietly. His eyes never left her. Minutes passed. No screams. No kicks. No punches. The mother whispered, "This has never happened." The father asked a careful question. "Ruth, do you have children?" Ruth looked down. Her face changed. Pain passed through her eyes. "I had a son," she said. "Long ago." The room went silent. The mother felt her chest tighten. "What happened?" she asked gently. Ruth took a breath. "He got sick," she said. "I held him every night. He stopped crying only when I was close." Leo leaned into her again. The same way. The father felt a chill. The doctor had said love had nothing to do with it. But now, this was something else. The mother reached out slowly. "Can you hold him?" Ruth hesitated. She looked at her hands. Rough. Old scars. Cleaning chemicals. "They are dirty," she said. The mother grabbed her hands. "I don't care." Ruth slowly lifted Leo. Everyone held their breath. Leo rested his head on her shoulder. He sighed. A deep, calm sigh. Then he slept. Right there. In her arms. The mother broke down crying. The father turned away. He had paid for the best care. The best doctors. The best nannies. But none of that worked. This woman with nothing did. Ruth did not smile. She did not feel proud. She just held the child, like she had done before. Long ago. The father spoke softly. "Stay tonight," he said. "Please." Ruth looked at him. She saw something new in his eyes. Respect. But outside the door, someone was watching. Someone who did not like this. And this peace would not last long. The baby slept in Ruth's arms. That alone felt unreal. Leo had never slept like that before. Not in his mother's arms. Not with a nanny. Not even with medicine. But now he was calm. Ruth sat still on the couch. She did not move. She was afraid that if she moved, the moment would break. The parents watched quietly. They did not speak. They were scared to breathe. Minutes passed. Leo slept deeper. The house felt different. Lighter. The father finally spoke. "Ruth," he said softly, "how long have you worked here?" Ruth kept her eyes on the baby. 3 years, she said. The mother frowned. 3 years. I don't even remember hiring you. Ruth gave a small smile. That's okay, she said. I clean at night. I leave early. The mother felt something sharp in her chest. All this time, this woman was there, watching, listening, feeling, but unseen. The father pulled a chair closer. You said you had a son, he said. How old was he? Ruth closed her eyes for a moment. When he passed, he was 2, she said. The room went quiet again. The mother swallowed hard. What was his name? She asked. Isaiah, Ruth said. Her voice did not break, but her hands tightened slightly around Leo. The father noticed. What happened to him? He asked gently. Ruth took a deep breath. She looked at the floor. I was poor, she said. I worked 2 jobs. I cleaned houses like this one. She paused. One night, he had a fever, she said. I wanted to take him to the hospital, but I had no car, no money. The mother covered her mouth. I held him, Ruth continued. All night. I sang to him. I prayed. Leo shifted slightly. Ruth stopped speaking until he settled again. He stopped crying only when I held him close, she said. Just like this. The father felt his throat tighten. In the morning, Ruth said quietly, he was gone. The mother began to cry. She reached for Ruth's arm. I'm so sorry, she whispered. Ruth nodded. I learned something that day, she said. Children feel things adults don't. Leo breathed slowly, peacefully. The father looked at his son. All the anger, all the fear. Could it be that Leo felt too much? The mother wiped her tears. All the nannies were strict, she said. They tried to control him. They were afraid. Ruth nodded. Fear feels loud to a child, she said. Love feels quiet. That sentence stayed in the room. The father leaned back. Everything he believed felt weak now. Money, rules, experts. None of it worked. But quiet love did. Suddenly, the door opened. A woman stepped in. She was the head nanny. Her eyes went straight to Ruth, then to the baby. Her face changed. What is she doing? The nanny asked sharply. The baby stirred. Ruth gently rocked him. He's sleeping, the mother said. Please lower your voice. The nanny crossed her arms. This is not professional, she said. She's just a cleaner. The father stood up. His voice was cold. She's the only one he hasn't attacked. The nanny laughed nervously. It's luck, she said. It won't last. Leo suddenly woke up. He saw the nanny. His body stiffened. His face changed. Fear. Anger. He screamed. The nanny stepped back. There, she said. You see? But Ruth whispered softly. It's okay, she said. I'm here. Leo stopped screaming. He grabbed Ruth's shirt. The nanny went silent. Her face turned pale. The mother looked at her. Please leave, she said. The nanny hesitated, then walked out. The door closed. The father exhaled slowly. Something clear settled in his mind. This was not an accident. This was not magic. This was truth. But the truth was dangerous. Because if Ruth stayed, everything in this house would change. And not everyone was ready for that. The house was quiet again. Too quiet. Leo slept in Ruth's arms like he belonged there. The mother sat across from her, watching every breath. The father stood near the window, deep in thought. For the first time in months, there was no fear in the room. But peace makes noise in other places. Down the hallway, staff whispered. She is just a cleaner, someone said. This makes no sense, another replied. They will regret this. The head nanny stood in the kitchen. Her hands shook as she poured water. Her pride was hurt. She had studied childcare. She had experience. She had rules. But a woman with a mop did what she couldn't. That burned. Back in the living room, Leo moved slightly. Ruth froze. She whispered nothing. She did nothing. Leo stayed asleep. The father turned around. Ruth, he said, slow and serious. What would you say if we asked you to stay with him tonight? Ruth looked up. Her eyes widened. I clean, she said. I don't watch children. The mother leaned forward. But he needs you, she said. He trusts you. Ruth looked down at Leo. Trust was a heavy word. I can sit, she said. But I don't want trouble. The father nodded. We will handle that. That was the decision. The risky one. The mother ordered cameras turned on. Not for control. For fear. They wanted proof. For doctors. For themselves. Night came slowly. The house lights dimmed. Staff left one by one. Except Ruth. She sat in the nursery chair. Leo slept in the crib. Ruth did not leave. She hummed softly. A song with no words. From her past. From a time she tried to forget. Down the hall, the head nanny watched the cameras. Her jaw tightened. This is wrong, she whispered. She walked toward the nursery. The door was half open. She stepped inside. Ruth noticed her. The humming stopped. The nanny crossed her arms. You should not be here, she said. Ruth stood slowly. They asked me to stay, she replied calmly. The nanny smiled. A fake smile. Let's see how long this lasts. She stepped closer to the crib. Leo stirred. His face changed. Fear returned. His body stiffened. Ruth stepped forward. Please don't, she said quietly. The nanny ignored her. She leaned over the crib. Leo screamed. A sharp scream. The cameras caught everything. The mother gasped in the control room. The father ran. Leo kicked wildly. His small fists moved fast. The nanny pulled back. See, she shouted. He is dangerous. But Ruth was already there. She placed her hand on the crib. Not on Leo. Just near him. I'm here, she whispered. Leo froze. His scream stopped. He looked at Ruth. Then he reached for her finger. The nanny stepped back. Her face turned white. That's impossible, she said. The parents entered the room. The mother's voice was firm. Leave, she said. The nanny opened her mouth. The father raised his hand. Now! She left without another word. The door closed hard. Silence returned. Leo calmed completely. Ruth held him close. Her heart raced. She knew this peace was fragile. Later that night, Leo woke up crying. Loud. Painful. The cameras rolled. Doctors were called. The father watched the screen nervously. Is this it? He asked. Ruth lifted Leo. She did not rush. She did not panic. She sat on the floor. She held him close to her chest. She whispered words no one could hear. Leo cried, then slowed, then stopped. The doctor arrived too late. Leo was asleep again. The doctor shook his head. I don't understand, he said. The father finally said the words out loud. What if we are the problem? The mother looked at Ruth, at her calm face, her tired eyes. What if he feels our fear? She whispered. Ruth said nothing, but deep inside, she knew this child was not broken. He was sensitive, and sensitivity is dangerous in a cold world. The parents made another choice that night, one that would change everything. They decided Ruth would stay, not as a cleaner, but as part of Leo's life. And that decision would make enemies. Morning light entered the mansion slowly. For the first time in a long time, the house felt calm. Leo woke up without screaming. No keeks, no punches, just quiet breathing. Ruth sat beside the crib. She had not slept much, but she did not complain. The mother stood at the door, watching. She could not believe what she was seeing. Her child was peaceful. The father entered with his phone in his hand. He had watched the camera footage all night. Again and again. Every moment showed the same truth. Leo reacted to fear, not people. He reacted to pressure, not touch. The mother whispered. All those nannies, they were scared. The father nodded. They came with rules, with control. Ruth looked up. She spoke carefully. Children feel what we hide, she said. They hear our hearts. The parents listened, really listened. That was new. The mother sat down across from Ruth. She looked at her hands. Soft hands. Hands that never cleaned floors. We tried to fix him, she said. We never tried to understand him. The words hurt, but they were true. Downstairs, the staff gathered. Whispers filled the kitchen. She's still here, someone said. They gave her the baby, another replied. Jealousy grew fast. The head nanny watched from the stairs. Her face was tight. She felt replaced. And shame always looks for someone to blame. The father called a meeting. Doctors, nurses, staff. Ruth stood near the wall. She felt small. The father spoke. My son is not violent, he said. He is overwhelmed. The doctor shifted uncomfortably. But sir, he said, we followed all medical steps. The father nodded. And we failed. Silence fell. The mother stepped forward. We created a cold house, she said. He reacted to that. All eyes turned to Ruth. The head nanny laughed quietly. So now the cleaner is the expert, she said. The room froze. Ruth lowered her head, but the father did not. She is the only one who listened, he said. She is the only one my son trusts. The head nanny opened her mouth. The mother cut her off. Respect, she said sharply. That word landed hard. Ruth had cleaned this house for years. Never once was that word used with her. The father continued. We will change how we raise Leo, he said. No more force. No more fear. The doctor sighed. This goes against training, he said. The father replied calmly. Then the training is wrong. That day, everything shifted. Ruth was given a chair. A real one. Not the corner. The mother asked her opinion. What does he need today? She asked. Ruth answered simply. Quiet. Time. Patience. Leo played on the floor. No crying. No anger. Just curiosity. The staff watched in silence. Some felt ashamed. Others felt angry. The head nanny packed her bag. She stopped at the door. This won't last, she said. Ruth said nothing. She had heard that before. That afternoon, a visitor arrived. A business partner. He laughed when he saw Ruth with the baby. Since when do cleaners hold children? He joked. The room went cold. The father looked at him. She is raising my son, he said. The man's smile disappeared. Ruth felt something strange. Not pride. Not power. Respect. For the first time in her life. For people like this. That night, the mother sat alone with Ruth. Why didn't you ever say anything? She asked. All these years. Ruth smiled sadly. No one asked, she said. That answer broke something in the mother. Tears rolled down her face. I am sorry, she whispered. Ruth nodded. That was enough. Leo reached out. He touched his mother's face. Softly. No fear. The mother smiled through tears. The truth was clear now. This child did not need control. He needed connection. And the richest lesson came from the poorest voice. But outside the gates, rumors were spreading. And not everyone wanted this truth to win. The change did not happen loudly. It happened slowly, like a house learning how to breathe again. Ruth arrived early that morning. She did not wear a uniform. The mother had asked her not to. Wear what feels comfortable, she said. That alone felt strange. Ruth walked into the nursery. Leo smiled when he saw her. Not a big smile. A quiet one. The kind that meant trust. The father stood by the door. He watched carefully. No anger. No fear. Just connection. That week, new rules were made. No shouting near Leo. No grabbing. No rusing. Staff had to slow down. Some tried. Some failed. One young nanny spoke too loud. Leo screamed. Ruth stepped in. She did not raise her voice. She did not correct the nanny. She just held Leo's hand. He calmed. The nanny looked ashamed. The mother saw everything. Respect was no longer optional. Word spread fast. In the house. In business circles. The millionaire's baby had changed. People whispered. The cleaner fixed him. That's impossible. A reporter called. The father said no interviews. This is not a story, he said. This is a child. But not everyone agreed. One afternoon, the head nanny returned. She demanded a meeting. I deserve my position back, she said. I trained for this. The father listened. Then he stood up. You trained to control, he said. She taught us to understand. He looked at Ruth. For years, you cleaned our floors, he said. Now, you are teaching us how to be human. The room went silent. The head nanny left. This time, no anger. Just defeat. The mother did something unexpected. She invited Ruth to dinner. At the family table. Ruth hesitated. I don't belong there, she said. The mother smiled. You belong where my son feels safe. They ate together. No staff. No phones. Just people. Leo sat between them. Happy. That night, Ruth went home late. She sat alone in her small apartment. She looked at an old photo. A little boy. Isaiah. She whispered. You were right. The next morning, a letter arrived. From the father. A formal letter. Ruth read it slowly. They were offering her a new role. Not a cleaner. Not a nanny. A caregiver. With pay. With respect. With choice. Ruth's hands trembled. She did not think about money. She thought about trust. She said yes. The staff reacted differently. Some smiled. Some looked away. Jealousy still lived there. But it had less power now. One day Leo fell. He hit his head lightly. Everyone froze. The mother panicked. Doctors were called. Ruth knelt beside Leo. She waited. She let him cry. Then she held him. Leo stopped crying. He looked at his mother. Then reached for her. The mother knelt too. She did not rush. She learned. That was the real change. The father noticed something else. Leo now reacted calmly to others. Only when they were calm too. The child was teaching the adults. One evening, the father spoke quietly to Ruth. You changed my family, he said. Ruth shook her head. No, she said. You listened. That night, the gates outside the mansion were noisy. People protested. They thought Ruth had taken advantage. The father stepped outside. He spoke clearly. My son chose her, he said, and I choose to respect that. The crowd went silent. Inside, Ruth held Leo. She felt fear, but also strength. She had lived unseen. Now she was visible, and visibility is dangerous, but necessary. The world inside the house had changed, but the world outside was still learning, and the final lesson was yet to come. The house was no longer the same, not because of new furniture, not because of money, because of silence. Good silence, the kind that heals. Leo walked across the living room floor. Small steps, unsteady. Everyone watched. No one rushed. Ruth sat nearby. She did not clap. She did not push. She waited. Leo fell. He looked up. For a second, fear tried to return. Then he saw Ruth. She smiled gently. Leo stood again. He walked. The mother covered her mouth. Tears fell. This was the child they thought was broken. But he was never broken. He was unheard. Months passed. Leo changed. Not suddenly. Slowly. He laughed more. He slept better. He no longer hit. Because no one hit his heart anymore. The house learned new rules. Not written ones. Human ones. Listen first. Move slow. Respect feelings. Visitors noticed. Business partners felt it. The house felt warm. One afternoon, the same reporter returned. This time, the father agreed. But he made one rule. Don't talk about money, he said. Talk about people. The reporter asked Ruth questions. Simple ones. Why do you think he trusts you? Ruth thought for a moment. I don't try to fix him, she said. I sit with him. That answer went everywhere. Online. On TV. People argued. Some praised. Some attacked. She's just a cleaner. She got lucky. Ruth ignored the noise. She had lived in silence before. She could live through this too. One evening, the mother found Ruth crying softly. She sat beside her. What's wrong? She asked. Ruth held up a photo. Isaiah. My son would be this age now, she said. The mother held her hand. I wish I met him, she said. Ruth smiled. You did, she replied. Through Leo. That night, Leo reached for his mother during a storm. He held her hand. The mother stayed calm. She did not panic. She learned. Weeks later, the father hosted a small gathering. No press. No cameras. Just staff. He stood in front of them. I failed, he said. I paid people but forgot to see them. He turned to Ruth. This house stands because of her. Applause filled the room. Ruth felt uncomfortable, but she stood. She deserved it. The head nanny never returned. But others stayed, and they changed. They learned that kindness was not weakness. One day, Leo saw a cleaner at the grocery store. A woman in worn clothes. He smiled. He waved. The mother watched. She understood. Children don't learn respect from words. They copy actions. Years later, Leo started school. His teacher called. Your son is very gentle, she said. He notices kids who are alone. Ruth listened from the kitchen. Her eyes filled with tears. The cycle was breaking. One night, Leo asked a question. Why do some people talk down to you? He asked Ruth. She paused. Because they don't know me, she said. Leo thought. I know you, he said. That was enough. The father watched them. He remembered the boy who punched and kicked. The child everyone feared. Now he saw a boy who felt deeply, who loved deeply. The richest lesson of his life did not come from a book. It came from a woman the world ignored. The story spread, not as gossip, as truth. People started to ask different questions. Who are we ignoring? Who do we disrespect without knowing? And somewhere in that big house, a child slept peacefully, held by love, not money, not power, just love. Moral. Never judge by position. Never confuse fear with strength. And never forget, even a child knows the difference between control and care.